It's 2 a.m. You're not tired. Or maybe you are, but sleep isn't coming. So you pick up your phone. Just for a minute. Just to quiet the noise in your head. And somewhere between the third video you didn't ask to watch and the fifth post you don't actually care about, something shifts. The scrolling isn't relaxing you. It's feeding something. A low hum of anxiety that you can't quite name. Half dread. Half restlessness. Half the feeling that time is passing and you're not sure what you're doing with it. You keep scrolling anyway. Not because it helps, but because stopping means sitting with whatever's underneath it. If that sounds familiar, this video is for you. And so is a man who died almost 2,000 years ago, who wrote about this exact feeling in a private journal he never intended anyone to read. Marcus Aurelius was the emperor of Rome from 161 to 180 AD. He commanded armies, governed millions, and carried the weight of an entire empire on his decisions. And in the middle of all of that, he kept a journal. He called it his personal notes, reminders to himself. Thoughts he was working through. He wasn't writing for followers. He wasn't writing for history. He was writing because his mind wandered. Because he struggled with distraction and avoidance and the very human temptation to escape into something easier than whatever was actually in front of him. We call those notes the meditations. And when you read them slowly, you realize this man was dealing with the same thing you are at 2 a.m. He just didn't have a phone. In Book 4, Section 3 of the Meditations, Marcus writes this. People look for retreats for themselves, in the country, by the coast, in the hills. And you yourself tend to yearn for those retreats. But this is altogether unphilosophical, when it's possible for you to retreat into yourself whenever you please. Read that again slowly. He's saying, you keep looking for somewhere to escape to. A different place. A different feeling. A different state of mind. But the retreat you're actually searching for isn't outside of you. It was never outside of you. Now think about what 2 a.m. scrolling actually is. It's a retreat. A small one. You're not going to the country or the coast. You're going somewhere easier. Somewhere the thoughts can't follow you as loudly. Somewhere that fills the space so you don't have to sit in the quiet. Marcus understood this impulse completely. He had palaces he could have retreated to. He had advisors and entertainments and every distraction the ancient world could offer. And he still wrote to himself, don't look out there. The only retreat that actually works is the one inside. Later, in Book 2, Section 14, he writes something that hits even harder. Even if you were to live 3,000 years or 30,000, remember that the longest life you can live is only this present moment you are living now. The moment you are living. Right now? Not the moment in the video you just watched. Not the moment in someone else's highlight reel. This one. What Marcus is pointing at is something he came back to again and again in the meditations. The present moment is the only real thing you possess. Everything else is either memory or anticipation. And both of those, he argues, are forms of absence. Ways of being somewhere other than where you actually are. At 2 a.m., scrolling, you are almost entirely absent from your own life. And some part of you knows it. That low hum of anxiety you feel isn't random. It's your mind registering the gap between where you are and where you're supposed to be. Here's what Marcus is not saying. He's not saying the phone is evil. He's not giving you a productivity lecture. He's not telling you that you should be journaling or meditating or doing something more useful with your time. He's saying something more specific than that. He's saying that the thing you're looking for, the retreat, the relief, the quiet, is not in the scroll. It cannot be in the scroll. And the proof is that you're still scrolling. If it was working, you'd have stopped. The Stoics had a concept called posoke, present moment attention. Not mindfulness in the modern self-help sense. Something harder than that. The idea was that you owe it to yourself to actually be in your own life, rather than drifting through it watching other people be in theirs. What does that look like practically at 2 a.m.? It looks like noticing what's actually underneath the scroll. Because there's always something underneath it. Sometimes it's a conversation you haven't had yet. Sometimes it's a decision you're avoiding. Sometimes it's just the accumulated low-level weight of a day that didn't go the way you wanted. Sometimes it's nothing specific, just the unnamed restlessness that modern life creates in nearly everyone. Marcus would say, name it. Don't perform the retreat. Do the actual retreat. Put the phone down. Sit in the quiet. Let your mind surface whatever it's been trying to surface. It might be uncomfortable for 2 minutes. It almost certainly won't kill you. He writes in Book 8, Section 7, do not disturb yourself by picturing your life as a whole. Let not your thoughts range over many troubles. But ask yourself with regard to every present difficulty, what is there in this that is intolerable and beyond endurance? In other words, whatever you're avoiding, ask yourself honestly, is it actually unbearable? Or does it just feel that way in the dark at 2 a.m. when you've been looking at a screen for an hour? Usually, it's the second one. The scroll amplifies the feeling. Silence gives it somewhere to go. Now here's what I won't tell you, because it isn't true. Stoicism is not a cure for anxiety. If you're dealing with clinical anxiety, the kind that has a physiological component, the kind that disrupts your daily functioning, a 2,000-year-old philosophy is not a substitute for a doctor or a therapist. Marcus Aurelius was brilliant. He was not a psychiatrist. What Stoicism is useful for is the specific kind of 2 a.m. anxiety that is largely self-generated. The anxiety that the scroll creates more than it soothes. The anxiety of avoidance, of not sitting with something that's actually manageable if you just sit with it. For that specific thing, the restlessness, the escape-seeking, the phone as a pacifier, Marcus Aurelius is extraordinarily useful. Because he identified the mechanism precisely. You are looking for a retreat in the wrong direction. He can't fix what's underneath it, but he can help you stop making it worse. One thing, not 5, not a list. Tonight, or the next time you're scrolling at 2 a.m. and you feel that hum, put the phone face down. Not across the room. Just face down. And ask yourself what Marcus asked himself, in different words. What is actually here right now that I'm not willing to sit with? You don't have to solve it. You don't have to journal about it, or meditate on it, or do anything with it. Just let yourself know it's there. Name it if you can. That's the retreat Marcus was talking about. Not the absence of distraction. The presence of yourself. 30 seconds of that is worth more than 30 minutes of scrolling. It's still 2 a.m. But now you know what you're actually looking for, and where it isn't. Marcus Aurelius wrote the Meditations for himself. He wasn't trying to teach anyone. He was just trying to stay honest with his own mind. That's all this is too. If this landed for you, the next video is about something he wrote that applies to a very specific situation at work, when someone takes credit for what you did, and you said nothing. That one cuts even deeper. I'll see you there.